Hello guys, Wahoo here, back in the video. This time around we are going to talk about the PTS server. More specifically, the feedback is going to be in this video for Tiny Quest, which is the new update we are getting. Basically also known as leveling up your allies to be even more awesome. So in this video I will kind of go over some points. I'll also show some pictures. I've made a few ones I feel like can improve the UI because I'm not a big fan of the UI as it is right now, but I'll get more into that one. But I think there's a few points. But I do want to say, overall, I think the update, the whole concept of the update, the whole idea of the update is actually super awesome. It gives you something small to do, something on the side, kind of a side mission that you don't have to do all the time, but you can do it once in a while. But I do think there's some improvements, so it becomes less invasive, because you can maybe see it from the footage in the background right here, is that it is, you know, you do a dungeon, and then you basically have this little crafting table, crafting station that you send them on a bus, send them on an adventure, your allies, and then they come back and they get some experience, and you can also get some rewards. I don't know what all the rewards are. They're still adjusting those things, but it doesn't really matter to me too much. I'm not there for the rewards. I'm not gonna judge if it's too much or too little, but I do think it's more of the gameplay and also how it, just the gameplay, how it works out, basically how it works. So, as I said, very great idea. Nothing I would have come up with myself. So I'm very, I think it's super awesome. When I saw it the first time, I was very excited to see it for being a smaller update. So we are expecting this is a smaller update because they're still working on the marketplace. They are still working on stability for the servers and so forth. So I think that's much more important, that they're working on the marketplace and then giving us this little itty bitty tiny quest update in the meanwhile as well, because I really feel again that the marketplace really has to hit it on the nail in the first try, because there is going to be people that are going to attack it. I don't think those people are gone, so I'm quite sure that they will try to attack it again and try to figure out how they can bring it down again, because I'm sorry to say it, and I don't want to be a negative anyway, but these are very sad people that has the intentions of doing this, because why would you spend your time doing this? Just play a video game. If you don't like Trove, hey, there is a million other amazing video games out there. I can mention a few if you want them. You can always DM me if you're looking for some video games that are also free to play. Anyways, that's what the video is about. But I do think that I think it's more important with the marketplace because it's such a groundbreaking thing. So I do think that the Tiny Quest do have to have some improvements, but I'm also well aware of the other problems that Trove has at the moment. But let's jump into the first thing. And the overall theme for this is I do want to have more of a more polished UI, and it kind of looks a little bit like Dora the Explorer. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, and there's nothing wrong with Dora the Explorer, but I don't really feel like that's the vibe. I know Trove is a positive, upbeat, happy, fun, all that stuff, but I do feel like this is a little bit too much fun, if you say it like that. I don't know if you can have too much fun, but I do feel like, and I feel like this was sort of the problem with the Pathfinder one. It felt like it was squished together in some way, and it was feeling like kind of clumped up. They did fix it eventually, but there was way too much room between information and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on with that, but I kind of feel like the same thing is going on with this one. It doesn't feel like very polished. It feels like it's like just, hey, we're gonna put in a box here, we're gonna put in a box here, we're gonna make a fun, a picture here where it kind of looks like they're going on the bus, and I was gonna put a thing up there. I don't really feel like it is in a design of Trove. The design is not really there, so I kind of made some suggestions to what it could be. I'm not a big fan of having the allies on one side and your quest on the other side, and then whatever is in the middle thing. So there's like 3 places you have to look. I think it's better, and you can see it on this picture, about what I basically did for changing it. And it will switch between 2 different pictures, but the only difference is that I did implement the background thing in that one as well, because I do think it's a cool picture, and it could be, but I just feel like it's like so overwhelming. So you could use the picture. I think it's a great picture, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is like even, like the boxes are even, it gives you the rewards, it's basically centered, and then you can move all your allies in, and you don't have to look on your left. You can also just look on your right, because of course you should have the allies there, and then you should place them in as they have them right here. That I think is super, super awesome. And that is the idea that I have. It's taken from the marketplace, so they're basically a tab. You can see there's a done tab as well, and I'll show you a picture of that one as well. I have a first version of it where, and I couldn't get this, of course, to work because I don't have the stuff to make it not look. So it's stretched, yes, it's stretched, but of course that would be, of course, 100% like just a longer bar, right? If this is just a bar that I could work with as in the division that we have. But I do also made a second version, which basically shows you the centered, shows you like the active quests that you have going on, so you can better follow them. Again, they are stretched. It shouldn't be that stretched, of course. It should be more looking more clean, right? But on the left, you can see the quests that are done or completed or claimed, and then you can follow on that one. And then you have the claim button as well up there to claim it all, and you can see all your active quests as well. So I do kind of like version 2 of this one a little bit better. Again, don't look at the stretch thing. That should just be normal, not stretched out like that. It should just like be a normal size, so it looks not crazy. But the complaint, that's not what I'm saying. The claimed quest also kind of looks weird because you can't see all the allies. You can see basically it's cut out. That is actually from the real, what is it on the PTS server right now. So that is what it looks like on the PTS server. I really feel like you should be able to see every single ally and not be cut off and stuff like that. And I think there can be a lot of nice things that can be done with that. But these are the UI things I think could be implemented. There could also be added more stuff to this, of course. And also, of course, the developers have completely freedom to do whatever they want. But this is the ideas that I came up with. So you don't have that extra little bar on the side. And then you should just be able to open up this UI, and then basically, if there's no quest, then you can click new, but it would just be blank, and because you haven't, and it would just say you haven't had any quest there or something like that. I don't know, but at least the done thing should be something you can open up all the time. And yes, you can also open the UI all the time if you want to do that right now. But it just seems a little bit too much, because the other thing that I do want to talk about with this one is that I don't think that the execution of how you obtain them is proper in that sense, because I feel like it's very invasive. A lot of people, I don't go too fast. I'm not the fastest guy out there in farming, and I know there's a lot of people that are quite fast, and it would be quite basically invasive to every time click this one as well. I know you can just take a voucher, but basically you're interrupting gameplay. So I do think that it's much better if this could be sort of a profession kind of thing, but more of I would say more of a adventure board, if you call it like that. I don't know if that is, but like you have an event mission, and you can send them, like when you have a big farming session, you can come back to your cornerstone or your club world, and then you can interact with this one, and you have some quests you can send them on, and then when you log back in, you can look at this board, and then you can also interact with these people or these allies again, because I think the mission itself is amazing, and the experience you get, and you can level them up, and you can get them to even better. And I will also be making a video which allies I think you should be leveling up in the future when it comes to that. But I don't think that every single dungeon that you have to open up this one. The other concept that I had was basically you do dungeons. You still have to do dungeons to get missions, right? And so you couldn't just like interact with the table just doing nothing, but you had to gather still missions, and every time you did a dungeon it would give you a mission in the table. And when you had 3 or whatever, I think you can get up to 5 quests. So when you've done 5 dungeons in a day, that would be eligible to, you know, give you quests. You could send your guys on missions, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it after that. And then you can also interact with it wherever you are, basically. And it could also be something you just like do 5 dungeons, and then it's all in the UI itself. So there wouldn't be like basically a table that would, or station that would be showing up every single dungeon, and you had to take that voucher thing. And you can still take vouchers. You should still be able to take like do 5 dungeons or 3 dungeons, whatever, and then click the missions for taking the voucher, as you can do right now, and then just take the voucher instead. If you don't want to do it, send them on that mission. But everything would be in the UI instead of being in a mission table, whatever, after the dungeon, basically. So you could just do it like that, and then, because if you forget, you have to go back and get, you know, the mission, but or get the voucher if you forget, right? And of course it will be at some point be something standard, but I do really feel like we should have some sort of, you know, way of doing this, basically. So I think that that would be a possibility. The other idea I had was to implement missions, like we have our orders for fishing, right? We have these orders you can buy from Sam, and then you have fishing quests for doing them. I was thinking about recipe dungeons. You know, nobody really does recipe dungeons that much. It's more of a, you know, a start thing, and of course people doing it now because you can't get it off the marketplace. But it could also be where you had a recipe dungeon and it would drop a mission as well. Like it would drop a recipe and a mission, and it would be 2 ones. And, you know, as you can do with the recipes, you can put them on the marketplace. And I know, of course, you can't do that right now, but in the future, you'll be able to put them on the marketplace again, right? But these missions, you could choose to either like, oh, I want to do this mission, or you could sell them to other people and also make, of course, and that would also revive recipe dungeons, which would force prices on recipes to go down a little bit. And that would just be awesome, because everybody would be going for recipe dungeons again. And they would give you some missions, or if you were just like, you didn't want to farm that day, you know, you didn't have a lot of time, but you want to send your guys on missions, you could just buy some missions and on the marketplace, and then of course get them to, of course, the guy. And then you could do in the future, you could do like NPCs that sell you different sort of recipes as well, like unique ones or whatever. And then you could have different tiers, like common quests and then like uncommon, and they would drop in different tiers. Like for example, in the very first ones, you know, the first recipe dungeons you encounter, like in the lowest level, that would give you common ones, and then uncommon, and then all the tiers you have up to, you know, mythic and stuff like that, all the way up there in like tier 15 worlds, right? I don't know if there's any recipe dungeons in tier 15. I can't remember at the top of my head, but if there is, it could be mythic missions, which of course would be like for end game, right? So the lowest missions would be the lowest, and then so forth, right? So, and then again, you can trade it also to people if you have a friend that wants to do your mission, or yeah, so on and so forth. So it would be a tradable entity. You could trade these missions towards each other. That's just a different idea. I don't know if that's too much, but either, you know, have missions basically pop up themselves in the UI, as I said before, or have it as a tradable thing you can trade to other people as well. And only getting 1 voucher per dungeon is not a lot, but I would say that if you can just like click it in the UI and just like remember to do it after 5 dungeons, and if you do it after 6, you wouldn't get an extra one. But again, you wouldn't be like, oh, I forgot to click the last 5 dungeons, basically, right? And have to click that. So you can just like click them off and take the vouchers, or send them on missions later on. And also you can do that when you have, basically, let's say you farm for half an hour, and then you say, oh, okay, I want to send my guys on missions, and maybe you even get a notification, you know, like we do with the when you're like your reliquary is done or something like that, and it says, hey, your mission's done, you know, you can now jump into the UI or to the crafting bench mission station. Would be kind of the thing that it would be a thing you could do, because you get a notification. A few last things I do want to mention is something I saw on Discord, and I saw like people would love to like could pay for progression, so basically buy progression, and I think that's super awesome because it doesn't really interfere too much with the economy, because you would just buy experience potions or whatever experience for your allies, so you can just like skip the whole thing. Some people would feel like that's pay to win, but it's just your ally, so not really. And I think it's a good way for the community, or for the, you know, whatever they're called, Gamigo, for making some money on this one, which of course they have to make some money, because else we can't pay for servers, right? And a last thing is resend previous team would also be super awesome if you could do that, depending on what you sent before, and you can just resend that team. And I know there's different spots for different missions and stuff like that, and then it would just take like, you know, whatever ally you set first. Like if you have 3 spots, or let's say you had one with 7 spots, right? And you send like a team, you click them and you send them on a team, and then you basically, you know, there was only, the next mission only has 3 spots, then it would just put the 3 first ones you had in the different ones and stuff like, and then you can always change it out. But like a button that just resends the previous team, that would be super awesome as well. So you can just click one button and you can move on. Again, that would kind of put the downtime, but I really feel like it could also work in the UI that I had as well. So that was my feedback. I did go into a little more detail for everything, so that's why it became a little bit more extensive, this video here. But I just wanted to mention and kind of see that I think the UI needs an overhaul. I think the execution of how the obtaining the mission and sending on mission should have some sort of, you know, revamped in some way. And I know that we have a lot of crafting tables in Trove right now. That's also why I'm saying it could just be a UI thing. We don't have to have a physical, or well, physical, but a thing where we put it, you know, have a crafting table. But we have so many, and what is one more than people have room in their club worlds and stuff like that, and if they don't have it in their cornerstones, I understand, but yeah, you can always make more layers, you know, and one crafting table. And I also do think that some crafting tables could be moved together. For example, all the biome ones could be moved one. I don't think we need one for every single like that, but that's a minor thing. But the point is, mostly is about this one right here. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and listen to me rant for a lot of minutes. But if you have any feedback, go to the description and you can put it right there. And in the description, there's also a link to the Trove Discord, also to my Discord, but to the Trove Discord, and that's where you want to place it. But you can put it in the description, sorry, not the description, because that's not yours, but the comments if you want to. But the devs will see it more likely on the Discord. They sometimes check the comments, but much easier. Go to the Discord, put your feedback in there based on what you've done yourself or what you feel like it could be done in the future if you have seen it, basically. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!